Hello and welcome to the Vail Dailies on the Hill on a Thursday, the 13th of September. I'm your host, John LeConte. Excited to be joined by Roger Barris. Roger is the Libertarian Party candidate for Colorado's U.S. House of Representatives 2nd Congressional District. Roger, you're a hiker. We're out here hiking. What all of the candidates running for this seat can agree upon is that the 2nd Congressional District in Colorado is among the most beautiful and scenic of the 400 some districts in the country.
Yeah, you know, as John, as we were just talking about, I was living in Europe and I knew I'd always come back to America. And so I looked all around the country, and basically this is the place I chose.
On the Libertarian Party platform, among one of the commonly held beliefs is that the government doesn't have the best track record when it comes to protecting the environment.
Right, yeah.
And
sure.
So in this area, however, you know, beautiful area, a lot of national lands. Is that still kind of true for this area? You know, have the national lands done a good job of protecting the environment?
Yeah, I think the national lands have done a reasonably good job. But I guess the key question is, first off, the key question is, why should they be national lands? I would rather see these lands turned over to Colorado so that the people of Colorado could decide. You know, there was a bill, I think you were talking about with one of my competitors, there was a bill that, among other things, would reallocate something like 15 acres from, say, White River to one of the other parks. And I'm thinking to myself, this is insane. Why should the decision on allocating 15 acres between two parks in Colorado, why should we be looking to Washington to make that decision? It's crazy. I actually think that the state of Colorado would have a much better incentive, much better knowledge, much better flexibility to actually use these lands more effectively than somebody off in Washington.
It's interesting to hear you say that move from federal government to state government, because I always kind of more thought of the Libertarian Party as holding the belief of no government.
Yeah, it depends. Look, there are libertarians and there are libertarians, right? You know, within the Libertarian Party, we do have
there's a
group of anarchists.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the anarchists would probably be upset with me, you know, saying that what we should do is move from the federal government to the state government. They say, no, it should be privatized. Between the decision of federal government and no government, there is an intermediate position. And
that's the state government.
And that's the state government.
Right.
And the intermediate position is actually the decision that is contemplated by our Constitution. The bulk of government should be at the state and local level. And I want to push decisions down as much as possible to the lowest level possible, because, as I said, that improves accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't forget, you know, here in the city of Vail, you probably know who your city councilmen are.
Right.
All right? And, you know, and it's not some faceless bureaucrat off in Washington. It's somebody you directly know. So I want decisions to the maximum extent possible made at the lowest level possible.
So I think that what someone maybe on the other side of that argument might say would be something to the effect of, it seems like more equitable decisions get made the larger the sample size, meaning that the smaller down you get, the more you get into some mob rule type scenarios.
Well, there is that. The role of the federal government, in my view, should be to make sure that mob rule does not override individual rights.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm not saying that we should just have strict majority rule at the local level, regardless of what people do. Some libertarians would disagree with me. I don't care.
Right.
But people who cannot take care of themselves, then the government has to provide basic needs, a simple safety net.
Right, a bottom tier.
A bottom tier. And part of that safety net would obviously be access to health care. And as part of a basic social safety net, I think the government should pay for K-12 education. But one of the problems we make when we're looking at government policy is we don't carefully distinguish between three different buckets. Bucket one is, what is the stuff that the government should actually do? And the stuff that the government should actually do is basically relating to the use of force. Okay, so the military,
Sure.
the police,
Yep.
the courts.
Yep.
Okay, the next bucket is what should the government pay for? Okay, and I include education and this basic social safety net in that bucket.
Yep.
And the last bucket is what should the government have nothing to do with?
Right.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that education should be paid for by the government, but the idea that the government should be the monopoly supplier of education is insane. We pay about $14,000 per student per year. So let's take as a base case, everyone gets a voucher for $14,000. If you're happy with your local public school, you march down to your local public school with the voucher, you say, here you go.
You like your public school?
You like your public school, you can keep it. Exactly, okay? I'm a big believer in competition. I'm a businessman.
Sure.
And I know that the only thing that drives businesses to keep prices down, to innovate, to serve their customers is competition. Well, I'm sorry, that applies equally to the public sector as it does to the private sector. Everything I'm talking about, economists have been talking about for 40 or 50 years. This is not Roger Barris's idea. You know, Nobel Prize winning economists have been making these arguments for 40 or 50 years. The problem isn't the economics. The problem isn't the logic. The problem is the politics.
You say, you know, this isn't groundbreaking stuff. However, I think for at least the traditional conception of the Libertarian Party, it might be just a little different.
Look,
I always thought of it as kind of like, you know, a patchwork, like the society being a patchwork of private property
right.
interests kind of bound by mutual agreements.
Yeah. Look,
but
there is, within the Libertarian Party, there are many factions.
Right,
okay?
right. So this is your brand.
This is my brand.
Yeah.
But I would say that this is probably the center of gravity of the Libertarian Party.
Gotcha. Well, definitely this year we'll see your name on that ticket, Roger Barris.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as you point out, John, that's a lot of why I'm here, is to provide an alternative option. Because, you know, the latest polls that come out of Gallup say that 60% of Americans want a viable third party. And I'm here in part to provide that viable alternative. And so what I would say to people, let's be realistic. This is a deep blue district, which means that the overwhelming likelihood is that the Democratic candidate is going to win. Which means that mathematically, your vote, if you vote Democrat or Republican, is meaningless. If we want to create alternatives, we have to start now. And in this case, it is costless to the average voter, because I say mathematically their vote doesn't count anyway.
You're out there as another party candidate and campaigning all around the district. I'm sure we'll be seeing you in the coming weeks, but thank you for coming through Eagle County and appearing on the Hill.
Good.
For now, it's John LeCon and Roger Barris.
And you know, next time, John, if we do it, can we go downhill?
Well, this is part of my test. If you want to be our representative, you got to be able to hike these trails.
Yeah, they probably had too much coffee this morning.
But I think you're doing great, man.
But no, it's just, you know, first off, is my girlfriend will tell you I talk too much anyway. So
hey, you got to be able to balance the talking with the physical activity here in the second. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
All right, but listen, great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, yeah. And thanks to you, the viewer, for tuning into another episode of the Vail Dailies on the Hill. For now, it's John LeCon and Roger Barris signing off, and we'll see you later. One more thing. Sorry.
Yeah. Just if anybody, I have a very elaborate website.
Okay.
I discuss in great detail 20 different issues, because one of the things I want to say to people is that with Roger Barris, what you see is what you will get. All right. So if you're interested in more thoughts that I have about different policy issues, my website is www.barris, BARRIS, the number 4, Congress.com.